I'm gonna pick back off from yesterday. Here's the full video. Sammy. Yeah, talk your shit, Sammy.
As a father, as a grandfather, and a great grandfather, I can't even imagine what the fuck this is. I don't even know why there's a trial. Listening to this shit is ridiculous. It's outrageous. This guy needs a fucking 38 right in his fucking forehead. No trial. Blow his fucking brains out. He's having sex with his mother. I just can't fathom trying to understand this case or understand the complaint. I know later on I'm having an interview with the news media and they're going to be talking about the RICO law. I understand the RICO law. I testified in trials with the RICO law. So I understand the RICO law. Talking about the RICO law is one thing. This here, I've never heard anything like this in my entire life. And I'm involved in murders. I'm involved in the mob. I'm involved in some of the most brutal, horrible crimes you could imagine. I thought, up until I'm listening to this, tongue-tied when it comes to listening to this, his daughters, his granddaughter, men, boys, young girls, drugs, freak off. This isn't a freak off. This is, they can call it whatever they want. This is pure evil and insanity. I don't know if any of the questions are, is he going to beat this trial? I don't know how he could beat this trial. I don't know how any woman in her right mind could sit on this trial as a juror. Listen to this, one day after the other, after the other. I'm only listening to it for 10 minutes. I've followed it a little bit, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. I don't even want to listen to it. I've never heard of anything so disgusting in my life. Never. And I thought I've come across serial killers like Roy DeMeo and people gas piping their life. I thought that was brutal, disgusting. This has got that beat by, I don't know what. Now, I don't like sending people to jail. You can contradict me. I cooperated. I told the truth. I never tried to send people a guy. I don't root for people to go to jail. I root for this motherfucker to go to jail. Worse. And I'll tell you what he's going to be in prison. He is going to be everybody's bitch. I got 22 fucking years in prisons. He's going to freak off. He's going to get fucked so much he'll think his fucking ace exploded. They're all going to bang his fucking brains in, and he warrants that. And I hope another bunch of inmates are watching it while it happens. Hey, bro, how does that feel? You want some drugs? I mean, whatever your questions are, ask me. I'm a little disturbed right now. Normally I answer them a lot calmer. I'm not calm right now. It's a shame that young girls across the country are going to listen to this. Even now, somebody just who's listening to me threw up, I think. I don't want to be biased in this. I want to try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I might be a little biased when it comes to him. I don't know how I could give him any kind of benefit of the doubt. Why did the government put in the RICO Act? Why did they just indict him on what he did to each and every person with drugs, kidnapping, child molestation, all of this stuff? He loses hands down. They're charging him with the RICO for this reason. The government is just as disgusting as he is. They are turning around. The RICO is meant to take his money and properties and everything. That's what the fuck they're looking at. That's why they put in RICO. RICO does not belong in this case. They developed the RICO for the mafia, Italian people, to go after the Italian people. And it's a corrupt organization. I know what the RICO law stands for. He don't have a corrupt organization. It's him. RICO has a statute like for the mafia. There's a boss, an underboss, a consigliere, captains, maid guys. This whole organization goes out and commits crimes, murder and all kinds of crimes. And it's an organization. And it's very easy for people to understand it. Now, it's a very complicated law. It went out after the Italians and the mafia to Hispanic people. I was in prison with Hispanic people, black people who got hit with the RICO law, didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about. But it was an easier law for them to win cases, number one, and for them to confiscate the money. So to them, part of that thinking with the RICO is about money. Not just to find you guilty. They want to go after you, find you guilty, and then they want to pound their chest. They want his hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, whatever he has. They want that money. And if they lose this case, they've lost it because of their own greed. RICO does not belong in this case as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but like I said, I've been involved in a lot of RICO on both sides of the RICO. So I do know about the RICO. And there's lawyers, talented lawyers, who literally have a hard time figuring this RICO shit out. But mostly it's about money. And it's about a corrupt organization to get everybody in at once. I don't see them getting everybody in. I see them attacking him for the disgusting crimes that he's committed. You don't need a RICO. You just need those crimes. Who would sit on a jury, listen to those crimes, what I just listened to, and what I've been listening to, is going to find him innocent of what? And no women, no men. We have kids in too. We have husbands, we have wives, we have daughters, we have granddaughters. What guy is going to find him not guilty? But they made the case harder for their greed with the RICO. I don't think it fits. I'm not a lawyer. I wish that lawyers listen to me and react to me and talk to me and tell me what they think about the case. But I don't see it as a RICO case. And I think that if he has any shot of beating this, it's because they put the RICO in it. People won't understand the RICO. They won't buy it the way they're looking at it, the government. They don't give a shit about his money. They care about his crimes. What do I care if he's got 200, 400, or $4 billion? I care about he was pissing in a woman's mouth. He was kissing his mother. He wanted to fuck his daughters. I don't need no RICO to want to put him away or to take him out. Mafia-wise, we don't allow that kind of shit. If a guy came up with that, we would kill him. When you broke the line and you start killing people for no fucking reason, we killed you. This stuff, you would be dead as a doornail. If it leaked out to us, this has hurt the entire music industry. This has hurt. I have a lot of black friends. This has hurt black people. I know if I was a black man, I would be sick. If he was an Italian guy, I would be sick. I would say, thank God he's not Italian, because it's against all of us. And I think black people feel the same way. Who told me, Sammy, this is fucking, I never even thought of anything like this. Because you can't even imagine the story, because unless you're a half a degenerate, I would never, you could be freaky in certain ways or whatever you want to do, swingers or whatever you want to be. But this isn't freaky. This isn't freak off.
Messy.
I don't know the words.
Real messy.
It's that brutal. When you walk out of that room, I would ask him if I was a lawyer. When you walked out of the room, you were happy, bro? When you saw some young 22, 23-year-old girl on the fucking floor being pissed on and fucked by 9 guys, did you really get off on that? How did you feel when she wobbled out of the room, couldn't even walk, didn't even know what the fuck happened to her? I don't think anybody on the planet would feel good with doing something like that. And some of the freaks that he's with, yes, some of it's consensual. They should be ashamed of themselves.
LeBron James and all
those women. They're a disgrace to every woman on the planet. Crying and sitting there pregnant. You should bury your fucking face in shame. And you watched it as well. You should be part of this indictment, Cassie. Not just him. Both of you should go to prison.
Hi, this is Josh Meyer from USA Today here at the Manhattan Federal Courthouse, where we just wrapped testimony for another day of the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. Today we heard from Deontay Nash, who is a stylist for Sean Combs and for Cassie Ventura Fine from 2008 to 2009, and he spent a couple hours on the stand talking about Sean Combs' propensity for violence, and he said that he saw Sean Combs beating up Cassie Ventura more times than he could count. He saw her with a black eye once, with two black eyes another time. Deontay Nash said that he and another Combs employee jumped on Sean Combs' back to try to get him to stop beating Cassie Ventura, but that Combs was so in such a rage that he threw them off. He also described keeping $1,000 in cash handy in case Combs was in one of his violent moods and he had to either get a hotel room for himself or for Cassie Ventura. Prosecutors are using all that to sort of paint a picture of Combs as very controlling, and this is part of the trafficking allegations against him.
Diddy, when you go to prison, see how tough you are. Play your games in prison. They'll knock your fucking face in. Pull shit like this that you did. You had 15 guys behind you against a helpless girl or helpless stylist, probably half gay. Do it in prison. Be a big shot in prison. See what happens. Now, in the prisons I was in, the ADX, Supermax, and places like that, first of all, we wouldn't be able to get at you, but, bro, you'd be fucking washing my clothes for stamps. I say, I'm going to give you 4 stamps. Go wash my clothes. Go to the room and go wash my clothes. Or I would tell them, get a fucking broom and a mop and clean my cell when I go play ball. When I come back, I better not find a hair in the fucking cell. That's what he's going to get. You think they give a shit about him? He's so tough. They couldn't even stop him. He was so brutal. See if they could do that in prison. See if they'll stop you. See if they'll shut you up. Got a lot of mafias in prison. Italian mafia, Mexican mafia. Pull it off. Do it. Go in there. Cartels. Go ahead. See what happens, bro.
Child welfare coming here in 30 minutes. That's on y'all. My kid's downstairs.
Then you got the Kid Curry.
15 minutes.
You know who that is. A rapper. His Porsche goes up in flames. Molotov cocktail style.
Kid Cudi said Diddy was like a Marvel supervillain. He got on the stand and told a wild story. December 2011, 5:30 in the morning, Cassie, who he's secretly dating, calls him and says, Diddy has found out about us. I'm freaked out. Come pick me up. He gets in the Porsche, picks her up, takes her to a hotel. When he gets to the hotel, his assistant calls. Diddy is in your house. He forced his way in. So Cudi's driving back to his house in the Hollywood Hills, and he calls Diddy, and he's like, motherfucker, are you in my house? And Puff says, I am here waiting for you. Like eerie calm, super villain calm. But while Cudi is driving back, Diddy unwraps Christmas presents that Cudi had for his family and locks his dog in the bathroom, traumatizing the dog.
Get my dog Lily out of here. She could hear this stuff. Is Lily? Where's Lily? She's away from me.
Protecting her.
Yeah.
No wonder Kid Cudi started frequently wearing skirts after his Porsche was set on fire. Diddy once made 3 shocking demands of him. When Kid Cudi often showed up on red carpets and fashion events in skirts, many just thought it was another avant-garde move from the eccentric genius. However, the real reason behind it is far more chilling than you might imagine. Back in 2021, Kid Cudi had a brief relationship with Cassie Ventura, but this happened after she broke up with P. Diddy. At that time, Cassie Ventura was still involved in activities with P. Diddy, including wild freak-off parties. Shortly after, Cudi's Porsche was mysteriously set on fire in his driveway, seemingly as a warning. It's said that P. Diddy was furious about the relationship, and soon after, Kid Cudi received a clear warning from Diddy's camp. First, he must wear skirts at any public appearance. Second, cut off all private and public contact with Cassie. Third, stay silent about all of this forever. If he didn't follow these demands, the consequences would be far worse than just losing a car. Moreover, P. Diddy even contacted Cassie Ventura's mother and threatened her about Cassie's relationship with Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi knew very well that Diddy's influence was too powerful for him to challenge at that moment. To protect himself, he had no choice but to silently comply. But now, the time has come to expose everything, and Kid Cudi has bravely stepped forward. Do you support his decision?
I see him wearing white dresses. I think I had a skirt like that once myself, but it's fucking it's fucking crazy. I'm goofing. I didn't have a dress like that, but I never seen anything like this in my life. You know, people calling it the trial of the century, and it's disgraceful, and it's disgraceful to every single person in the United States. I don't know where you would find this in what kind of country. I don't think you get the worst countries in the world. You won't find this. I will tell you, you know, I know the Muslim countries argue, fight, they bomb, they do a lot of crazy shit. Diddy wouldn't last 2 seconds in a Muslim country. They would have killed him so fucking fast his head would have spun. He's a disgrace to the whole country. Imagine people in other countries listening to it like we're listening to it, talking about it like we're talking about it. Could you even imagine what they're saying about America? That's America. That's the land of the free. That's where we want to go live? Fuck no. They're not saying that. It really is a disgrace to the whole country.
I just stepped out of court, and TMZ is reporting that Cassie may be in labor. This is following explosive testimony from Diddy's former employee, Capricorn Clark, who also used to work closely with Cassie. Capricorn crying on the stand this morning as she recalled being kidnapped by Diddy's associates. She says she was holed up in the 6th floor of a building that was under construction for 5 days, accused of stealing some jewelry and forced to take lie detector tests. And at one point was threatened that if she failed, she would be thrown into the East River. Capricorn also detailed her account of what happened the day Kid Cudi's house was broken into back in December of 2011. She says early in the morning the day of the break-in, a frantic and angry Diddy starts banging on her door, waving a gun. She says he had just discovered that Cassie was dating Kid Cudi and asked her, "Who is Scott?" She testified that he told her to get dressed and said, "I'm gonna kill this." At some point on the way, she calls Cassie on her burner phone and warns her. And that's when Kid Cudi discovers that Diddy's at his house, allegedly. Now, it's here that her testimony differs a little bit from Kid Cudi, because she says that when Kid Cudi pulled up to his house, they spotted him and he drove away, and they started chasing him up the Hollywood Hills. They lost track of him, but saw the police, and she says that's when Diddy all of a sudden calmed down, like the police had an effect on him. I'll further break down her testimony in a later post, but I also wanted to touch on cross-examination, because one thing that really jumped out to me that Mark Igniflo zeroed in on that I think is really important to the defense's case is this notion that Diddy didn't kill Cassie's career, that Cassie killed Cassie's career because she's not talented.
One time my pinky ring was missing, and I did get all the girls who were working for me and made them take lie detector tests, and really nothing happened because I realized I left it in my pants pocket. So it wasn't the girls. I'm just joking now because I really don't know what to say about these names. And where do they get these names? Kid Cudi, Kapapupo. Where do they get all these fucking kind of names? Stage names, rapper names. When you're born, I can picture I was born and the first words I hear out of my mouth, Gula Gula. I told my mother, is that me? You calling me Gula Gula? What the fuck is that? I would never be called that. I wouldn't take it. So I don't know where they get these names from or anything else. If I'm going to keep watching this, give me a fucking cigar. I need a cigar.
Well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff. You do. But we've been known to party with you a few times.
And just when you think it couldn't get deeper, evidence starts disappearing. Fingerprint cards from 2011 gone. That ain't sloppy. That's a cleanup job. I finally got my cigar. What's next?
Court has adjourned today in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Today, the defense requested a mistrial following testimony from an LA arson investigator, but the judge denied the request. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
A mistrial request denied in the federal criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. His defense team accusing the government of prosecutorial misconduct during the testimony of a Los Angeles arson investigator who spoke about fingerprints that were lifted from the front door of rapper Kid Cudi's home as part of an investigation into a break-in there in 2011. The investigator testifying that those fingerprints were destroyed, and when prosecutors asked the investigator if that was unusual, the defense accused them of trying to plant the idea that Combs was responsible.
The overall implication, according to the defense, is that somehow Sean Combs created that disappearance. The defense moved for a mistrial, and they moved for it because what they said is that it's unduly prejudiced, because this is the whole theory of what the prosecution is putting forth, is that he has this control and can make these investigations disappear.
Instead, the judge striking that part of the testimony, telling jurors to disregard it. Right before, the jury heard from a police officer who responded to that break-in, testifying that he saw a black Escalade leaving the scene with plates registered to Combs' company Bad Boy Productions. The arson investigator also testifying about another incident at Kid Cudi's home in 2012 when his Porsche was set on fire. He testified about the smoke and fire damage in these photos that were shown to the jury, and said he determined the fire was targeted and started with a Molotov cocktail. Kid Cudi last week testified he believed Combs was responsible for both incidents after finding out he was dating Cassie Ventura.
I don't know any criminal in the world who doesn't cover up knowing he could leave fingerprints and cover it up and smudge it off or wipe it off or wear gloves. So I think it's really unimportant. To make it a car and where it belonged, I guess, is more important. If you found my car in front of the place, even if my fingerprints weren't on it, I mean, what's the difference? You see the car, it's there. What's my car doing in front of the crime scene? So I don't know if that has any bearing on it in one way or another.
Official government photos of Diddy's hotel room when he was arrested in 2024 have been released. Let's start with the pill bottle, which is clearly not in Sean Combs' name and is in Frank Black's name. If you remember, Cassie repeatedly said that Diddy used the name Frank Black to book hotels and to get things for the freak-offs. In the nightstand, they found this bottle of pills with 2 pink bags full of a pink substance. And of course, you know that he had his baby oil, which has been a hot topic throughout the case, plus he had some in the bathroom. There's a look of the hotel room when you walked in. Prosecutors just released these images today in court. There was also a hard drive of files that they found inside of the hotel room. Who the hell knows what is on that hard drive? He had these lights set up in the hotel room. There was a bag of cash with about $9,000 estimated in it. This baby oil was found in the tub when the bathroom was raided, when the hotel room was raided. And then we have more pills in the second drawer that was on the other side of the bed. And they found a fanny pack hanging from the side of the bed. What do you guys think?
So he had $9,000 in a place. The guy's worth a couple $100 million, if not $1 billion. $9,000 is chump change for him or for anyone around there. Even some guy who knows him, who had the car that was set on fire. He's got a Mercedes-Benz convertible. I mean, they all have money. So the money, I don't think means anything. A fanny bag hanging over the thing, I don't think that means anything either. I think the damaging part is that he's got pills. Why don't they go back to where the place they bought it, a pharmacist, and go back and say, how many things were bought under this name, Frank? Who's the doctor who prescribed these things, and what is it? So those are the things that are important. Was it prescribed 100 times, 1,000 times? I would imagine who the hell this guy is and how many times you're going to get these pills. I know I have regular pills, thyroid pills. Sometimes they'll question, your doctor has to prescribe it or this or that. So all of those questions I think are important, and it shows. I guess now I'm starting to understand where the RICO part is coming in. They're trying to show this pattern of somebody doing something all the time. It's not just P. Diddy. It's guys working for him. And that develops what you would call an enterprise, a structure, where different people. I'm going to give you an example. I'm running this company, me, Sammy the Bull. My son comes in, Megan comes in, Sterling, Amina, all kinds of people. Now, if they're out committing crimes and this and that and the other thing is always leading back to me, that's a criminal enterprise. I'm formed a criminal enterprise. Their crimes come back to me. I'm ordering them. In other words, when Paul Castellano had his home, it was his home where his wife and his kids lived, but he held business in that home. So that home and the criminal activity becomes the headquarters. When I got arrested in Arizona on my ecstasy case, they took our homes, my home, my son's home, other people's homes. We did a show about it. And some of that stuff was taken under the RICO Act. I had a book that had nothing to do with anything. They took that money because of the fact that I used that money, even though it's legitimate money, to create a drug enterprise. So this is where the RICO law goes into all these nooks and crannies and grabs things that has nothing to do with anything. So this is where, going back to my statement, that it's a money thing, partially, for them. And that's where they're going with the thing. It starts to look like to me. And so, yes, it'll go back to his label. It will go back. He's used that. That's where he made them meet. That's where he can promise them things. You know, I can get you into the music business. I could get your daughter in here. I could get your son in there, and I could do this. And he has a lot of them have guilt. They did what he wanted them to do so they could have things happen. And that's where you say it's consensual. It is consensual, but he's using bribery or threats. Because in his case, not only bribery by giving them money and giving them positions and making them earn, but it threats as well. So he's got a combination of different things that he used. And some of them, giving a woman money for sex is not illegal, I don't think. But when you're using it this way in the RICO, it becomes illegal. And they step by step by step. They're taking little steps. The woman said, God knows what's on the recording. What do you mean God knows what's on? You got the recording. Play it. Maybe it's damaging, maybe it's not damaging. Maybe the court will let it in or not let it in. If the jury didn't hear it, then it don't mean anything to the jury. The fanny pack, I mean, some of the girls come in with a fanny pack. My son once in a while has a little fanny pack. You call that, I guess that's what you call it, on his shoulder. And I'm all excited. Oh, he's going to come over with pizza. He's coming over with drugs. So the excitement in my voice and everything is different. And they see that. I think this is waking those people up. There is so many things with Helen DeGeneres and people like that. And there's so many stories and so many things that are coming out. Actors, actresses, all kinds of things. Listen, we always knew when I was young was the casting couch. If you wanted to make it in Hollywood for a woman, you had to do what you had to do. If you came across a powerhouse guy, he wanted to put you in Hollywood. There's certain things, if she didn't do it, she ain't going nowhere. Now this is a whole different thing. That was bad. This is 10 times worse. Freak out parties, things like that. And it's not bad. I don't give a shit if 10 people had a freak out party and they were men and women and they were all consensual. It wouldn't bother me in the least. Do it. And maybe the guy will give her a pass or make her make money. But this was insanity. This was beyond people weren't willing. They didn't want to do that. They got trapped. This is what's making it a criminal enterprise. What he did, his so-called temper, beating people up, threatening people, and possibly now with these things, possibly, I'm not going to say it is, killing them. And that's no different than the mob. When you did something with the mob and they wanted to get rid of you, they got rid of you. All right, we used a different tactic. We'd shoot you in the head. This guy's not doing that. He's using drugs or he's using whatever.
Stay up till? I stay up till like maybe 6 in the morning. I'm back up at like 10:30, 11.
6 in the morning? What do you do every night till 6 in the morning? You don't go to clubs every night.
No, I mean, I make love a lot. told you when I came on the show I was going to be completely honest and expose myself to the world. Parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life. You gonna hear about my party. They're gonna be shutting them down. They're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time. You know, whenever you bring up a different element into people's environment, things that broaden people's horizon, people get intimidated. There's a lot of people out there that feel intimidated by it. It ain't nothing but break it down racial barriers, break it down generation barriers.
Bro, stick the racial card up in your ass, bro. That's not what it is. That's not what it's about. What you did have nothing to do with race. Your race of people don't do what you did.
Facts.
So don't put them all in it.
Facts.
This is against black people. Yes, what you did is against black people. Not what anybody else did.
Facts.
What you did. So don't start talking about racial barriers and racial bullshit. It ain't gonna work. Not against your old people. Because they don't do that. They know the difference. And they all have wives and daughters and husbands and kids.
Facts.
They're not gonna like you, bro. Just because you're black. That ain't gonna work. Not this time, bro. I don't know if there's people who are his boss. Do I think that there's people who are heavyweights that are involved? Obama's name got thrown around all over the place. Michelle. They talk about her. Is her name Michelle or is it Michael? Who the fuck knows? When they are doing things to this extreme, who knows anymore? Comedian made a joke. They said, will there ever be a gay president? And she said, Joan Rivers. Says, come on. We all know that Michelle is a guy.
Do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we already
president?
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
You know what struck me there? She's the first lady. Now, how could you say that publicly where he can't stop it? They would, for a president, they would stop that in a split second. Why did he stop it? Maybe somebody would say, well, prove it. Let's go to a doctor. So he just held it down, tried to blow it off, didn't even try to answer it. So is it true? I don't know. But Joan Rivers, right after making that statement, went for a simple plastic surgery and died in surgery. These people have power. In this case, they're dying from pneumonia, one after the other. Joan Rivers died right after making them. And there's so many things. And Hillary Clinton, two of the dirtiest, skankiest fucking people in the world. I mean, and nothing happens to them. I know sitting in prison for over 22 plus years, and not even for myself. I don't want to talk for myself. For every black guy and Hispanic guy I did time with, who didn't do a fraction of what these people did. And they walk around with a big grin, all kinds of money, and got away with it. It breaks my heart that I got out. I did a lot of time. There's guys in there, black guys, Hispanic guys, 20 years. There's mafiosos getting out now after 30 years. And they didn't commit what these people did. I mean, they may have had a murderer or two, but when you have murders of thousands and tens of thousands, maybe millions of people you're responsible for, or fucking up millions of lives, and you didn't even do a day. Where's the comparison? Where's what's right and what's wrong? I think we lost that in this country. And I think, now people may not like this, but the only thing that's going to save us is Trump. They're breaking his ass because he's a guy who knows what's going on and going against it, full blast. And they hate it. And there's white liberal elites who hate it. They want to control us. They want to make all of the money. And believe me, They don't just hate black people. They hate Italian people, white people, Hispanic people. We're all the same as to them. We're all that. Every single one of us are that to them. So we should all be offended. And this is why this guy got away with it that long. Let's think about it. This guy's been doing this for 20 years, in his own words. And not one word was ever said. How many people's lives does this guy destroy, or this group destroy? I don't know how the music industry will survive this whole thing. You see what's going on? Don't go in that business. Go in some other business. So this is not consensual anymore. So it's to a whole nother degree. I'm going to wrap it up. I'll probably be in prison in 3 days after this thing comes out, but...
It's only right that you share the channel that you got the content from. You go Sammy the Bull channel for those who want to get over there and support Sammy the Bull. See what he got going on. What Sammy got going on over there, y'all. Like I said, y'all hit the button there. I'm already subbed, and then you hit all. Make sure you get notified when he drop a video. Peace.